What is up, guys? Gen 1 or J here, and here we're going to be running some battles in the Open Master League featuring Keldeo. Here are the IVs for mine. Not the best, but it's what I got. I'm running them with Poison Jab, Sacred Sword, and Hydro Pump. And then for bulk, I am running my Dialga Origin, again with Dragon Breath, Iron Head, and Roar of Time. And for more bulk and coverage, I am running Ho-Ho with your standard moveset, which is Incinerate, Brave Bird, and Sacred Fire. And I decided to run these battles just because Keldeo, he does have a really good typing advantage in the Master League. He does well against the Steel types, and he does pretty well against the Water types. So he does really well against Palkia and Dialga. And right here, these Fairy types, he is able to go toe-to-toe with the Fairy types like Xerneas, Zacian, and he can keep up with the Togekiss if he is say swapped. But look at this, the Poison Jab is just tearing this Zacian apart. This Zacian is most likely, yep, he's running double back charge attack, so wild charge. I go ahead and decide to send a Sacred Sword. They go ahead and block that, which is what I wanted. I go ahead and block the, I decided to commit both shields on the Keldeo. They switch out, and I am very comfortable here as well. I go ahead and decide to send a Sacred Sword against this Palkia. It does pretty good damage. That Sacred Sword is probably the best charge fighting type move. It's 35 energy and it does about 60 damage, which is great for a bait move essentially. So I go ahead and I farm down this Palkia, and then they send their Zacian back in. The Zacian's running Snarl, that's why Keldeo was able to do so good against it. Typically Zacians are now run with Snarl just to kind of keep up with the Dust Mains and the Dawn Wings. So I go ahead and send my Keldeo out again, and he does very well against these you know, the Creation Trio, except for Giratina. So right here, he takes Iron Head pretty well, and they go ahead and decide to concede the match. So I had Ho-Ho in the back. Ho-Ho did not get to see the battlefield. So great first match, and you kind of see what he does against the Zacians. And now we have a Palkia lead. Very comfortable here. What I go ahead and do is I just go ahead and decide to send the Sacred Sword right away. They typically let this go, and they realize how much, you know, damage that does. They switch out and they send in their Mars Shadow. The Mars Shadow is probably the next mythical I want to level up and run. He seems like a really fun Pokemon. The fighting types, you know, his typing, he's just a better Annihilate essentially. And right now my Keldeo is about level 47.5, I believe. If I do the math right with the candies, he's about 47.5. And he does pretty well. He's medium bulk, and then before I was running him maybe in the 3600 CP, and he was just not keeping up. So right now I have him close to the 4000 CP, and he's able to keep up with, you know, these Palkias, Dialgas, Kyogres, Groudon, stuff like that. So you know, that extra CP really does help out. Go ahead and get farmed down by his Palkia, and no issues. I go ahead and send my Dialga, and I do get baited here, unfortunately. I'm looking for the farm down now. Hopefully I can make it, and they do end up making a last minute, I believe it's a Spatial Rend, and that is unfortunate on my end, but that's all right. They go ahead and have the Dusk main in the back. I'm gonna go ahead and full send the Roar of Time here, just because look at that amount of damage. It's not very effective, but Roar of Time is such a broken move. I go ahead and send the Sacred Sword for neutral damage here, and it does survive on 1 HP, which is unfortunate. And they send a Dark Pulse, and my Keldeo has no issues with that. So that was pretty good, pretty fun. He does pretty well against these Dust Mains, not so much the Dawn Wing stuff. And here we have a Kyogre lead. Very comfortable here. his waterfalls is hitting for not very effective, and then my poison jabs are hitting for neutral. Again, Sacred Sword hits for neutral. I do end up reaching another one. I go ahead and full send it. And they survive on not really sure how much HP, but they go ahead and make a Thunder, which is unfortunate. Typically, you don't really see these Kyogre running Thunder. They're either running Surf and Origin Pulse 9 times out of 10, but oh well. Right here, Dialga is getting, these charms, such a broken fast move. Here we go. The opponent has 1 shield left. I go ahead and decide to let this go through. I'm going to save the shield for when I am debuffed after sending the Brave Bird in case they do make another one. They go ahead and block this, which is fine. They have quite a bit of HP on that level 50 Dragonite. I go ahead and send another Brave Bird, and that got rid of him. No issues there. I do get farmed down, unfortunately. That last Incinerate does not go through. And right here, I decided to commit both shields, or at least this shield, for the Dialga. Just because it is my last Pokemon and I do need to conserve health. These charms just, hitting for neutral, but you see it chipping away at the Dialga. And this Iron Head is able to take the win. Fun match there. And I'm always going to be running Keldeo in the lead. So right here, very comfortable lead. Very comfortable lead against these Mamoswines. My Sacred Sword does hit for super effective damage. And they decided to commit the shield for that one. And they switch out. They realize that I go ahead and farm up to the Hydro Pump, and I just full send the Hydro Pump. Look at that poor Groudon. He got sent in just to get swept away. Poor guy. The opponents kind of realized that, okay, that was probably not the best decision. I go ahead and let this one go through. They do send a high horsepower, and look at the damage that did. I cannot reach a Sacred Sword, so I go ahead and send the Ho-Oh, and look at how much damage that Incinerate did. That is level 50, 100 IV, I believe, a Mamoswine. I'm gonna go ahead and commit this last shield. Oh no, I don't. I let this go through. And I'm trying to get the farm done just so I can exit. So I go ahead and see they're running Hydreigon. They're probably running Hydreigon in order to counter Dustmane and Dawnwings. You're not really seeing too many Mewtwo's at this moment just because they basically got nerfed with Dustmane and Dawnwings. You are starting to see more dark types being brought into this meta just so they can counter those. So Mewtwo is not really seeing a lot of play at the moment, unless they're running them in the lead. Typically, I've seen Dawnwings and Dustmanes being ran in the back. Here we go, very comfortable lead here. This Keldeo is able to win the zeros against these the Dialga. And then I farm up to I farm up past 100, and I go ahead and I let this go through. Even if it has Blizzard, I have no issues letting this go through. I call the bait. It was just a regular Surf, and I go ahead and I try to farm down. I don't think I can just because Kyogre is so bulky. I go ahead and let these Surfs go through, and unfortunately I have to commit a shield if I want to conserve all this energy. I just have way too much energy on Dialga here in order to let anything happen. I am trying to go after both his shields now. He will most likely be sending in his own Dialga. I go ahead and send this, hopefully to take one of their shields, and I believe I do get at least one of their shields, which is what I want. I go ahead and send another Iron Head. Didn't do much, but that's what I wanted. I was after their shield mainly. I go ahead and send Keldeo and have back-to-back Sacred Swords on here. And they realize that they're going to lose here. I go ahead and farm all the way up again on the Keldeo, and I let this Shadow Ball go through. Shadow Ball does do quite a bit of damage against the Ho-Oh, and they have no more shields left. I go ahead and farm up as much as I can, and I decided to commit the shield on this one. The Shadow Ball would have killed me. I full send the Brave Bird for And look at that, he is able to survive that. So I need to go ahead and send another Brave Bird to make sure I get him out of the equation. I go ahead and I do end up getting farmed down by the Dialga, but that's quite alright. I have back-to-back Sacred Swords on Keldeo. I go ahead and launch one of them, and that's a wrap. I had back-to-back, all I needed was one, and Keldeo was able to clutch the win on this one. I'm telling you, he does so well against these Dialgas and Palkias. And this is one of my core breakers, is Landorus, and this guy just irritates me so much. And the only reason why is because I don't have one. I did end up raiding when the Incarnate form was out, so to kind of stock up on XL. So when the Therian version comes out again, I'll go ahead and try and get a lucky or a good one. Here, my only option is to send the Hydro Pump, and I am able to get the KO on that one. Typically, whenever they're running Landorus, they end up committing both shields for that single Pokemon. He is a very squishy Pokemon. The pacing on him is just insane. He is the best ground type in the game right now. So, the only matchups for him are either Kyogre or, probably even Kyurem. And here we have a very comfortable matchup. Ho-Ho against Dialga. I do get baited. I was expecting Roar of Time, which does KO me. I go ahead and full send the Sacred Fire to avoid debuffs, and then I'm in a position where I can just go ahead and commit the shield and then farm down. Pacing on Dialga isn't great. So right here, Mewtwo, I go ahead and full send the Brave Bird. I get the KO, and they realize that they, even using the shield, my Dialga was in the back. So very fun matches. I am going to be doing a second part with more Keldeo matches in the Open Master League. Hopefully I get to reach Veteran pretty soon. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with these. I'll probably be doing more Spice Battles in the future, maybe featuring another Pokemon that isn't really seen in the meta, an unorthodox Pokemon. So that was the point with Keldeo, and I enjoy making these videos. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like. Thank you.